to expand to elementary school age kids.
We expect the federal government will soon give the green light to vaccines for children ages 5 through 11 years old. North Carolina health officials have been preparing for this and working to ensure parents can easily get their children vaccinated and protected. Once authorized, we want to ensure that vaccines for children are accessible all across our state.
Yesterday, an FDA advisory panel voted to endorse a smaller dose of Pfizer's 2-dose shot for kids ages 5 to 11. The FDA still needs to vote along with the CDC before shots are approved, but the federal government says this could happen as early as next week. Once it does, the White House says they will ship out 2 million doses specifically for younger kids.
We need to make a clarification regarding Surrey County Schools and its masking procedures within the district. On Friday, the district's Board of Education voted to begin new masking procedures for middle and high school students starting November 1st. The new procedures will also affect elementary students starting December 1st. Now, here's how it works. The mask status will be decided school by school. Masks will be required inside a building if the exclusion rate exceeds 5%. The exclusion rate is the percentage of a school or building's population in quarantine or isolation. If a district building exceeds the exclusion rate, masks will be required until that rate drops below 5% for 2 weeks. For 2 straight weeks. Anyone riding school buses is still required to wear masks, and the district still strongly encourages masks inside school buildings all the time. Again, to be clear, Surrey County Schools voted to start new masking procedures for middle and high school students starting next Monday, November 1st. The same changes impact elementary students on December 1st. For more information, we've linked you to the district's website on WFMYnews2.com.
All right, so today the Rockingham County Board of Education, they made a decision to show appreciation to their teachers and staff after what has been a very stressful year and a half, and that's an understatement, isn't it? WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey spoke with district leaders there and parents about this decision. Jalen?
Yeah, when the academic year began for Rockingham County Schools, November 12th was scheduled to be a normal school day for students and teachers alike. However, as of this morning, that has changed. In a special meeting called the Rockingham County Board of Education voted to make November 12th a remote teacher workday. This means that students will not be in the building or have any assigned schoolwork. We did speak with the district's public information officer about this decision, and this is what he had to say. Quote, "The board called this meeting in interest of the faculty. They wanted to do something nice for them after being pushed to the max these last 18 months. We also spoke with 2 Rockingham County mothers who told us off camera that although they agree with the county's decision to make this remote teacher workday, they'd like to see their teachers get significant bonuses as a way to show appreciation, like many teachers and staff have received from some of our surrounding TRIAD districts. Most recently, Randolph, Davidson, and Forsyth County all approved of some type of bonus. I did call and ask several of those other districts if they could possibly implement similar teacher work days and a break from in-person teaching in the future. Forsyth County said there is a possibility for a discussion at their next board meeting early next month, and we'll keep you updated with all new information as it comes.
As expected today, those breezy conditions have taken a backseat, giving way to a nice day across the Triad. Now, looking at our sky cams, I know you see that bug on there. Wanted to join the newscast for this 4 p.m. hour. Overall, we're seeing these gorgeous blue hues in our skies. Very few cirrus clouds way up in the sky, but overall weather conditions are fairly nice. Even across the Carolinas, we're all in a mix of 60s, 70s, 69 in the Triad, 63 in Boone, slightly cooler as we look towards the mountains, and then along the coast as well in a mix of 60s and 70s. We're all sharing in these fall-like temperatures, and when we talk about the dew points, it describes a very dry air in place. I mean, bone dry when you look in Asheville, 28 degrees. And then as we look in the Triad, 46. So it's giving fall today, but tomorrow I'm expecting some more active weather. But before we get to that, these temperatures are going to fall once again to some very chilly numbers. 43 in Reedsville, 47 in Greensboro. And as you can see right here where it says becoming partly cloudy, we're going to start to see an increase in cloud cover towards the latter part of the day. A couple factors coming into play here. It's going to cool down. We're going to get increasing cloud cover, and that increase in cloud cover is shaping up for a pretty nasty day by the end of your Thursday. Transitioning into your Friday, it's going to be a very wet start. I'll be breaking down why, as well as what that means for the weekend, including Halloween. All those details coming up.
Rising prices is impacting dozens of industries right now, housing included. A new Elon University poll found North Carolina residents are noticing the prices. The study found people noticed rising prices in the past 2 years. 44% who say housing prices are much higher. Those same people say they are skeptical they could afford their current home if they were looking to rent or buy in their neighborhood today. The rising prices, a trend TRIAD renters like Asheboro resident Jacob Waddell are feeling.
Emotionally, it's certainly taking its toll. We usually take family vacations once or twice a year, and for the last 4 or 5 years, we hadn't been able to do that.
Another housing trend TRIAD realtors are seeing is people moving to places like Greensboro from Raleigh or Durham. Housing prices as well as cost of living are lower here, and many jobs are still remote.
And I have plenty of clients and investors, out of state and in state, purchasing properties here because the population is moving here as a whole.
Yeah, I found this really interesting speaking to that real estate agent and investor yesterday about how more people are moving here because the cost of living and then also the median value of homes is much lower than what it is in Charlotte or Raleigh. And also an interesting point that he brought out was that millennials are moving here and buying homes.
Because we had heard forever that millennials were not buying homes.
Yeah.
They were looking for more urban living. I will tell you this, that when my friends in the Triangle, and even really down in Wilmington, which can be expensive there too, even though it's a smaller market than we are, when they talk to me about home prices, they're shocked at how affordable the Triad can be, especially if you live outside the city in a county.
And then when we talk about working remotely, like you could have a job that's based out of California and be working in New York. So we're probably seeing a lot of this everywhere. Since some people don't have to drive into the office every day, they can literally live anywhere that they like.
Yeah, and somewhere that's cheaper, so it's better overall for them.
And the bad thing that can happen from this, so if you go to western North Carolina, there's some communities like Franklin, outside of Asheville, southwestern North Carolina, where the median income is smaller, but people from Florida flock there and they buy homes and real estate that they can afford with Florida salaries. And then it pushes the locals out. They can't afford homes in their own hometown anymore because the value has gone up so much. It's good if you own a home, but if you're looking to buy one, that makes it tough. So
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
We will
Always with
see.
the knowledge.
Well, I've been around the block.
You've been around the block a few times.
I used to live in Florida, and people said, "Why are you not back in North Carolina? Everybody in Florida wants to come here." We're going to be here in just a couple minutes. We'll be right back. We're not leaving.
There's a theme here. Teachers make impact. In fact, this week's phenomenal woman was inspired by a teacher, worked in the engineering industry, and then returned back to the classroom to become a woman similar to the one she was inspired by.
I did not run across any women in engineering when I was here at A&T for my undergraduate.
Years later, Dr. Stephanie Luster Teasley is changing the face of STEM at North Carolina A&T. Oftentimes people assume when maybe you're attending a historically black college or university that, oh, all the professors are more than likely African American, but in this case, it's not so true.
Right, it's not true. The majority of our STEM programs are not African American.
Dr. Luster Teasley says more minorities are needed in these fields to diversify the industry and inspire others.
In elementary school, I got excited about science because I had an African American female science teacher that made it seem really interesting and something that a woman could do.
She says that's where her passion started.
I'm a teacher at heart. And so I wanted to teach at a HBCU after I worked in industry for a little while. I was an environmental engineer for 2 years at 2 different environmental consulting firms. Came to A&T in 2004, fell in love with teaching.
She spent the last 15 years in the Department of Civil, Architectural, and Environmental Engineering as a professor and department chair before moving into her new role as the university's undergraduate education vice provost.
I was the first African American woman at A&T to have 3 patents, including one that's 2 that are international. So I have a US, a UK, and a Canadian patent for a water treatment technology.
Dr. Luster Teasley says she isn't the only Teasley on campus making an impact in STEM departments.
My oldest is a graduate student here in computer science, and he actually finished his BS degree here, and my youngest is a junior in industrial engineering. And I brought them into the lab so they could see, okay, mom is balancing work and teaching, and she's in the lab. They were there when I came up with my patents, and so they really saw and they were inspired by what I did. And so now I think they just have a different perspective on seeing women in STEM.
She says few women are able to stay on this journey, balancing being a caretaker and a professor. But the program she co-founded, Girls in Science Lab, was her key to success and success of hundreds of others.
We brought in middle school girls to work in our labs to learn how to use the different types of equipment that our same college students were using to solve cases.
Now she sees some of those same young ladies on campus earning STEM degrees.
When you come up with a project or an idea, you never know if it's going to be successful. And just knowing that for 3 years we had these young ladies coming in to see us every summer, and seeing that they said, okay, yeah, we can do this. And now they're becoming chemists and engineers. It's just so rewarding.
Yeah, Dr. Luster Teasley, so when I was speaking with her, I didn't realize this. A lot of women who decide to become professors, they're first associate professors. And as associate professors, in order to get the title as a professor, you have to do research. But oftentimes when you have students who are inspired by you, you spend so much time with them that you can't dedicate it to research. So what she did was do research that gave back to the community, so she did both at the same time. And I just didn't realize that as a female, as just any inspiring professor, you oftentimes just dedicate so much, you may not have time for your actual responsibilities. So most people don't stick out the career because they just can't do it all.
That is really interesting. This story makes me think about my sister. She's actually an engineer for Duke Energy, and she went to A&T for undergrad and for grad school. And what inspired her to go was meeting other women who went to A&T for engineering. One of my dad's friends is an engineer that went there. So that exposure at a young age can really determine what you do with your life.
Yeah, you took away what I was about to say, because I call it the look up to factor, and that's important. There's value in someone that students can look up to, because then the students give them a little more credibility and they listen to them and pay attention, and she is so accomplished. There's a lot of value there.
Yeah, and to think that she did all of this while being a mom, I mean, way to go. What an inspiration to other moms. I don't think that I ever realize until I became a mom myself how hard it is to balance everything in life. And she has patents, y'all. She is amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was even cool how she said that she would bring her sons into the lab with her. And I know that was planting seeds for them because now they're in STEM fields as well. But I just was like, wow, what a mom. And also she's just still doing great things.
Yeah.
And, you know, she sees students on campus who just look up to her. So it really is powerful.
Oh, love the story.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Nice job, Monique. Thank you. You know, if you're like me, you grew up playing the game of horse on a basketball court. It was so much fun. But one TRIAD man has taken this game to a new level, and now they're giving away scholarship money to HBCU students. It's called BANKSHOT Basketball. That's the name of the organization that's holding this event coming up on Friday. Its creator, MANGUM, says it's basically a virtual game of horse where contestants are playing from all over the South, and it all started because of the pandemic.
Our players couldn't play, so we had to figure out a way for us to still have a competition safely. So we hopped on Zoom and we said, hey, can we shoot a ball? It worked. And we said, we want to have a couple other people on here to referee. And there goes BANKSHOT basketball.
So the competition is pretty fierce. Mangum says that this Friday's event, which is at the Greensboro Swarm Arena, is going to be electric because it's a hybrid event.
So we will have 3 students from different HBCUs here in the TRIAD participating in Swarm Arena, the Greensboro Fieldhouse. They will be there, still safe distance away, and they'll be playing the game of horse. Now, we will also have 2 big screens on either side of the court, and we will patch in 2 other HBCU students from Florida, and they're going to be competing as well virtually.
It's really cool. They're giving away scholarship money. We'll talk more about that in our next half hour. We're going to talk to Promise again. But his organization said, nobody can play together anymore. This is in 2020, right? And so he said, we're going to create this virtual game, and it started blowing up. And then people started from all over the country wanted to join in. And you have to be in a regulation arena. You can't be like in your backyard because that way it's apples to apples, right? And he said that it's funny. this is a good competition because you don't have to be the best basketball player, because there are people that can do trick shots that may not be a great basketball player, but he said, I've seen some of the best players I know get knocked out in the competition because they can't do the trick shot.
I was going to ask you, are these non-student athletes that are participating in this?
Yep, it's all the students from any HBCU, and it's not so much a game of skill. Well, it is a game of skill, but it's just unusual talents can also pay off.
How awesome is that to think maybe you love basketball, but you didn't actually play on the team, and now you can win money to go to school without being a walk-on or something like that.
Yeah, and what I love about this, and you know, there were a lot of bad things obviously that have come out of this pandemic, but things like this, being able to have some kind of virtual competition where more people can be involved and, you know, help raise more money or do something good for the community. I really love that.
And we'll put the link on this story on WFNYnews2.com so you can check it out, because it is live and it is at the Coliseum, at the Swarm Arena at the Greensboro Coliseum Complex, and you can see it in person as well as virtually. So it's very cool. All right, we're coming back.
Alrighty then, a couple of days ago, we had a cold front move through, and in 24 hours, another big weather system is expected to cross the Triad. You see, this area of low pressure and series of fronts that are tracking across the south are going to continue to lift northward as we go and through your latter part of your Thursday and continuing through your Friday. Things should start to clear out of the area through your Saturday, but you can see very gusty winds will start to pick up just ahead of that clearing. So as we go throughout the day tomorrow, we're going to be keeping a close eye on the radar here in the WFNY News 2 weather team to see if the severe weather threat does verify and stay well away from us and towards the coast. We are expecting some shower activity to the least, but as we transition throughout the day on Thursday and going into your Friday, there is a potential for some storms. However, we should be looking at no severe weather, but the severe weather does clip us, meaning that the possibility is still there. So here's a look at the timing on this futurecast, kind of showing you us starting out your Thursday very early in the morning with a lot of cloud cover, so it's going to gradually increase over tonight and then continue through your Thursday. We may get few breaks in the clouds, but for the most part, it's going to be a mostly cloudy day. And then around that lunchtime hour, we're going to start to see some light showers, the very heavy rainfall overnight, though, some real downpours Thursday evening going into your Friday. And then as we start out your Friday, again, breaks in the cloud cover, but the day on Friday is not going to be entirely dry. We will have to deal with off and on showers and maybe even some storms, but the severe weather threat takes a back seat. I'll have more details on the forecast for the weekend as well as the 7-day coming up in the next half hour.
Think about this. Creating a work of art with a set of broken crayons may seem like a tall task, but as Coach Lamont explains, there can still be purpose in those art utensils.
A grandfather spending quality time with his granddaughter noticed the sour look on her face. Concerned, he inquired what was wrong. The little girl went on to explain that while coloring, her crayons began to break. She was distraught because she wanted to color a special picture for her grandfather. The grandfather gathered all the pieces, picked up a broken crayon, and told his granddaughter that though broken, the crayons will still color. Though the crayons were broken, it didn't mean they couldn't fulfill their purpose of bringing color to the world. This story has always moved me. It's a special reminder that though many of us have experienced brokenness at some time in our lives, our original purpose is still intact. Broken crayons, still color. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best shoe day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I love that analogy. I've heard that one before. Like your life, you still have purpose. No matter what you've gone through, you can still get things done.
She said that during the break, Lauren did, and I said, I have never heard that saying before, but I love it.
Really?
No, I love that.
I've seen it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I like it. Got to look at things a different way. If you look at it positively, then you'll feel better.
See, it gets me off on tangents because the first thing I want to talk about is the different Crayola crayon colors.
Yeah, that's what
I remember when I was a kid.
Macaroni orange.
Yes. Was there burnt orange or burnt sienna? Something like that.
Very fancy. You were like the big kid on the block if you had the big crayon box that had
With
the
sharpener
in the
Oh
back.
yeah, that
exactly
was
right.
You
the
couldn't tell me
Crayola.
anything.
64 crayons, man. All right, we'll be back. Here you go.
Wow, that's great.
Hey there, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. I am coming into the hallway right now for you with a dark, delicious cookie and a nicely cold sensation, one and only. I'm also wearing my mask, creamy chocolate, OREO. Okay.
You must be talking to me on a different IFB. No worries. I figured that was going to happen at some point with somebody. Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania. It's a little bit confusing today. Keep going. Okay, cool.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is 4:30 on this hump day. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Lauren Coleman, Stacy Spivey, and Monique Robinson.
Hope you're having a great Wednesday. If you're watching on air, online, Roku, Fire Stick, or our WFOY News 2 app.
Yeah, we're going to check in on the forecast with Mo in just a minute, but first we want to get to today's headlines.
Yeah, let's start out with that. North Carolina state leaders say that it is not the time to lift any mask mandates, especially in schools. The COVID-19 task force, they gave an update today and said while the numbers are improving, COVID-19 is still spreading. Until more kids are able to get vaccinated, Dr. Mandy Cohen says mask mandates should stick around.
The vast majority of our students are unvaccinated. And what we say, when you have the vast majority of folks who are unvaccinated, you got to do other things to protect each other. And top of the list there is wearing masks. So right now there is no change to our recommendation that all schools should require masks.
The governor's coronavirus task force talked about improving numbers, and we're also seeing that trend on the local level. Take Guilford County's percent positive. The latest is 4.3%. It's in line with many of the numbers that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. Keep in mind the red line here is the state and the county's goal of 5%. In the past 2 weeks, we have been at or below the line 6 times. Prior to that, it had been months before we'd seen even 1 day below the line.
Today, the Winston-Salem Police Department said goodbye to one of their own. Sergeant Michael McDonald was laid to rest and he passed away on Friday. The department did not say what led to Sergeant McDonald's death. He was a 25-year veteran of the department, most recently in charge of the DWI and Special Operations Unit. He was also born and raised in the Triad, a graduate of West Forsyth High School. He leaves behind a wife, son, and his co-workers who he considered family.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Greensboro Crime Stoppers confirm a fire at a Guilford County elementary school is being investigated as arson. The fire happened back on October 7th at the vacant school. Peeler Elementary hasn't been in operation since it was damaged by a tornado in April of 2018. Initially, it was set to be demolished next year, but due to the fire, officials say demolition will happen soon. If you know anything, call the fire department or the police. Today, investigators released new details about the deadly shooting on the set of Alec Baldwin movie Rust. The Santa Fe Sheriff's Office says investigators found 500 rounds of ammunition, including blanks, dummy rounds, and live rounds while searching the set. Officials say charges in the deadly accidental shooting, which killed the movie's cinematographer, have not been filed at this time but have not been ruled out. Tyson's Food says 96% of its workers are vaccinated, including those in its Wilkesboro processing plant. Back in August, the company announced it would require all of its 120,000 workers to get vaccinated. About 60,000, half of the workforce, have been vaccinated since that announcement. Tyson's vaccine mandate goes into effect on Monday, November 1st. SPANX founder Sarah Blakely is saying thank you to her employees with a gift of travel after selling the majority share of her company worth $1.2 billion. On Instagram, she posted that each employee will get 2 first-class plane tickets anywhere in the world, along with $10,000 to spend. Now talk about being valued. That
Seriously.
is an awesome
Oh my
gift.
gosh.
So not only can you go anywhere you want in the world, but you actually have money to spend when you're on vacation.
I have to know, where would y'all go?
Oh my gosh, first go around. I mean, I would have to do a whole Europe thing because my wife's done that, but I haven't. So I'd like to do the whole, as much of Europe as I could.
Yeah.
I got 2 places, Australia and South Africa.
I was going to say
Ooh,
Australia.
I would love to go there, and I plan to go there sometime within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law went there and loved it.
I had a friend that lived
loved
there
it.
for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, and she just didn't want to come back.
You know what
It was
bothers me is when I
beautiful.
look at Instagram and I see those spiders that they show in Australia. They're like that
Oh,
big.
the ones that look like tarantulas or like crabs?
But they're huge. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I've seen
huge.
that
They're
before.
like dinner plate
and
size.
people are just chilling like
Yeah.
they're just
But I
regular.
still would go. I mean, I still would go.
Oh, yeah.
But if I saw one of those, I might freak out a little bit. Just a little
I think so, just a tiny bit.
tiny bit.
Well, let's go ahead and go to our next story. The pandemic opened our eyes to many things, and for parents, realizing it's never too late to pursue your dreams. A new study by one poll through UMass shows almost half of parents surveyed are planning to return to school to learn something completely new. More than half say the pandemic pushed them to see life's not too short or too short to not do what you love. So I asked you on my Facebook page if any of you were doing this. Joshua says, yes, got an interview today. Wish me luck. I hope you did good today, Joshua. And Debbie writes, yep, retirement.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this. I think a lot of people just reevaluated their lives during this time. They were spending more time at home with their kids. I think a lot of moms decided that they wanted to be home more around their kids so that they could watch them grow up.
Yeah, I did a 2 cents about this a couple months ago because I had a lot of friends saying they felt burnt out if they work at the hospital, or, you know, they just reevaluated what was important to them. And even if it didn't mean leaving your line of business, maybe hour every morning I'm going to dedicate that to going to the gym, or I'm not going to answer phone calls at this time, and just, you know, not being so invested into work 24/7.
I think it's funny when we were forced to not do anything for a while, work from home as much as you can, that type of thing. It makes you stop and you have a lot of time to figure things out instead of you're always hustling in life, right? Scattering here and there. When you have to stop and actually think about it, people make life changes.
Yeah, I mean, you realize life is too short to be so unhappy.
You can live on a smaller budget and be happy if you have to. All right, Monique, let's see what's going on with that. We've got rain coming in possibly Thursday and Friday, maybe some severe weather.
Yeah, we are expecting some rain. It's funny, the weather can change so quickly. Today we're enjoying a nice day, and I expect tomorrow to be a much different story, especially around this 4 p.m. hour. Right now, the temperatures are in a mix of upper 60s, 69 in Greensboro, Winston-Salem seeing a little bit more sunshine than us here in Greensboro, but also at a 69. So here's the hour by hour look at tomorrow throughout your Thursday. So clouds are going to be building in for the start of the day, and then showers and maybe even some storms for the latter part of your Thursday. Real heavy downpours as we transition into your Friday. So it's one of those nights where you go to bed and it's just going to be loud out there from the rainfall, and then the potential for storm activity does also bring that up, but also breezy conditions as well. So not only looking at shower activity, but it's going to be quite gusty winds at times. And even the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, does have some portions of the triad under a marginal risk for severe weather. So not everyone, marginal risk, for flash flooding, a marginal risk for flash flooding. So when we talk about the day tomorrow, the risk for flash flooding is there. Now, how much rainfall will we expect to see? Well, some locations more than others. You can see western North Carolina getting more rainfall to start out the early part of your Thursday evening, and then everyone seeing rainfall through the early part of your Friday. Just around an inch of rainfall, but you know, when it comes down quick, that warrants a flash flood warning. And so therefore, that's why that flash flood risk is there for far western North Carolina. But we're going to be keeping a close eye on the radar just for you throughout the day tomorrow, as well as on Friday.
When Jack Frost is nipping at my nose, this right here is how I deal with it. The space heater in the bathroom. Is anyone else on this bandwagon?
I've definitely done that before.
Have you? We do not have one, so no.
You don't have
No,
one.
but it's a great idea because
That
it's
is a
so
great
cold
idea.
when you get out of the shower in the winter.
It is miserable, people, and I hate that feeling of being cold, getting out of the shower, getting ready in the morning. So just yesterday, we had an expert in from Duke Energy talking about space heaters and your bills. Listen to this.
They actually will use a lot more energy. So you want to be very careful how you use those. Use them for short spurts if you need them. Better to get a highly efficient air conditioning unit, or maybe try to close those doors and blinds so that you can keep that warm air in. But if you do use it, make sure you're not using it all night, because your bill will increase.
But it's okay to use it for getting out of the shower. So I just want to be clear about that, right? Because that's a short time. All right, how many people have already turned on their house heat?
Well, mine is automatic, but yes, the heat has come on. Yes.
How about using your seat warmers in the car?
Yep.
Yeah, I love the seat warmers in the car, right? So do you think about saving money, or do you just think about being warm?
I think about just being warm,
Yeah, me
being
too.
cool. I
Being
will
warm.
make up for it in another way. I just won't eat out as much or something.
Yeah.
Gotta eat out and use the heat.
Yeah, there's got to be some other place, right, to save money. All right, so speaking of that, we took a look at how you can save money with your heating bill. Start by checking the filters. When they're dirty, your unit has to work harder, so clean and replace them regularly. Next, check between your doors and your windows, so you don't want the warm air you're paying for leaking outside.
You can easily install new weather stripping and draft blockers around doors and windows to seal in warm air. For bigger gaps, use foam. Cold air can come in through outlets on external walls, so pop in some foam outlet sealers.
Adding an extra blanket and lowering the thermostat 10 to 15 degrees overnight can actually cut your heating costs up to 10%.
All right, one last recommendation, and that's reversing the direction of your ceiling fan so that the blades push the warm air from the top of the room down to you. Reverse those paddles. We'll see you.
So earlier in the show, we told you about the HBCU Classic that's coming up this Friday. It is literally a virtual game of horse with some scholarship money hanging in the balance. I spoke with Promise Mangum of BANKSHOT basketball about this event because they're heading this thing up. And he says the competition gets pretty strong, but a different dynamic than what you'd have with street ball.
So the trash talking is definitely there, but everybody has been very knowledgeable and it's not like on the court. I think they know that these things are actually on, we're playing, it's more family friendly, and that people, they may not, say certain words on TV, so they choose not to. So that was pretty cool for that. But that whole competition, the spirit of competition is definitely there.
So his company, BANKSHOT Basketball, they're sort of spearheading this event. It is Friday, and he says that there's now an uptick in the competition by one certain group that has taken the game to a new level.
Right now, it's just whoever has the most wins, they're king or queen of the hill. We have had at least 5 or 6 females play, very good ballers. They are very tough. And it comes down to the wire. It comes down to, am I going to hit this 3-pointer or not?
Again, this goes back to what we talked about earlier, how it's not about whether you're the best pure shot from 3-point land. It really is what kind of trick, unusual shots can you do, and you can knock some people out.
It's been a second since I played horse, so is it the game where you copy what the other person does?
Unless they miss it, and then you don't have to you come up with your own shot.
And so then I could go closer to the hoop, and then everybody else has to do that.
He said there was, we were talking about horse, and I said I remember a friend of mine used to stand right under the basket, and he could throw it up and just throw it in from the side like that, and that sounds like a nothing shot, but try that. It's not that easy.
That doesn't sound easy. Did you all ever play Around the World?
Yes, I love that.
That was a fun one. I do remember that. Or Knockout. Do you remember that?
Oh,
that's when you stand in a line and you got to shoot the ball before the person behind you shoots it.
That's right. If you miss it, you're out.
Yeah.
Right?
If you could guess, I'm not really much of a baller, so I stayed to the sidelines.
You were cheering on the side.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, go team.
You can hold Baylor like this and shoot with one hand. Just do a hook shot. You'll be good to go. Nice.
Oh, I even did the leg kick. See, no, I do not need to be on a basketball court.
We'll be right back.
Looking at the skies right now in Greensboro, I'm pretty sure tonight's sunset is going to be beautiful. The temperature right now in Greensboro is 69. You can see these nice blue hues as well as a little bit of a yellowy orangey mix as well. As the sun begins to set, we'll see some more colors and it will be very nice out. Cool as of now, but as this area of low pressure and series of fronts makes its way further northward as we go into the latter part of your Thursday and into your Friday, Things are going to get wet across the Triad. I mean, definitely going to need the umbrella tomorrow, the next day, and to even start out your Saturday. Breezy conditions throughout the day on Thursday. Things will start to take a backseat with that on Friday. Here's a look at a futurecast kind of showing you how things are going to change over the next couple of hours. So as we go into the start of your Thursday, the cloud cover will start to increase across the area, and it looks as though my clicker is having a little bit of trouble. Cloud cover starting to move in across the area, and then some shower and storm activity for the latter part of the day. Just want to jump right to the 7-day. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my clicker. Here's a look at the overall forecast through the weekend, including on Halloween, which is shaping up to look like a nice day. Hopefully this verifies and trick-or-treaters will enjoy beautiful sunshine and cool fall temperatures.
The Atlanta Braves are just 3 wins away from a World Series championship, but now they'll have to do it without a starting pitcher.
Charlie Morton got the start in Game 1 against the Houston Astros. At the end of the second inning, his leg felt off and he got an x-ray. Nothing showed up, so he went back out to the mound during the 3rd inning.
Yeah, then after a curveball, he grimaced at the end of the throw, went back in for yet another x-ray. That revealed that he actually had a fractured right fibula. He's now been fitted for a boot, and they'll have to cheer the team on from the dugout from here on out. But that, I mean, imagine pitching baseball and you have a fracture in your leg, you don't even know it.
I think a lot of athletes and dancers and things like that, they'll still compete even when they know something's a little off.
Oh yeah, they just want to win, and especially when the World Series is at stake. But I just, from knowing a lot, or having a lot of experience knowing how pitchers operate, they use so much of their legs,
their body,
and so I just think about like when they're pushing off the mound, like he had to have been in so much pain, or maybe adrenaline.
Yeah,
was
I was about to
pumping.
say that adrenaline was pumping. He was
probably
just
right.
thinking about winning and striking those people out.
But imagine, I don't know if he's right-handed, but if he is and he's trying to throw, he has to put that weight on his right leg, and so that would make it really difficult. Ugh, makes me cringe.
Yikes. Well, a new study found most people are hoping the Braves actually win it all. The website BetOnline tracked hashtags in who people were posting about online. All but 3 states are pulling for Atlanta. Obviously, Texas wants to see the Astros win, along with their neighbor, Louisiana, and for some reason, Delaware.
Interesting.
Now that's, so we're going to talk about this America's Team thing in just a minute with the Braves, because that's been a nickname for them, right, for a long time. But I think the thing with this is the fact that they used to be put on TBS all the time, right? So they were on national TV, and everybody could watch them in any state. And then in the 90s, when they went to, I can't remember, 4 or 5 World Series, won. They were a big deal. So more people got to watch them, and they grew up with them, and they started to adopt them. So instead of just watching your local baseball team, they were on nationwide for years. So that might have been.
Always with the knowledge.
I know, right? But I think the Cubs are the true America team, like Team of America.
Well,
that's just my opinion.
There are lots of Cubs fans around, that's for sure. All right, it may not be the World Series, but WFMY News 2 is giving Panthers fans a chance to win 2 tickets on 2. We have tickets up for grabs for 4 of the upcoming games.
First, go to WFMYnews2.com. On the homepage, you'll see the story that says play and score Carolina Panthers tickets on WFMY News 2. Click that story. Once you're in, click on the hyperlink that says play 2 tickets on 2 trivia here. There are 5 Panthers trivia questions. This week, play our Panthers trivia, and you're entered to win a pair of tickets to see Carolina host the New England Patriots on November 7th.
You have from now until next Monday to log on and play. Trivia closes next Monday at 6:30 p.m. What's nice, you can play as many times as you want. The more you play, the better you are at winning.
All right, so once trivia closes, you'll need to watch WFMY News 2 at 11. That is next Monday, so you can see who wins. This is just the first of 4 ticket giveaways that we're doing, so you have several chances to win. Don't forget to log on to WFMYnews2.com and play Panthers trivia for your chance to win 2 tickets on 2.
If teachers or staff have vacation time accrued, they too can take.
Hello, I have a mask on, but now I'm taking.
Thank you. Sure, yes. Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina.
Cali, Cali, Cali.
Sure, we're getting ready for our 5 o'clock. Oh no.
Really? Yeah. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic.
Very odd that you are marked inactive, period. I will call the Board of Elections tomorrow.
What's the tea? I'm not talking about Lipton sweet tea, but gossip. Everyone is guilty of indulging in the gossip mill every now and then. Gossip can make us feel like we're a part of the in crowd. Having insider information may give some people a sense of belonging. No matter how you look at it, it can start to weigh you down. You could be having a perfectly great day and then someone tries to drag you into a conversation that has nothing to do with you. What initially seemed like harmful chit-chat now has you upset or maybe even paranoid. If you don't get ahead of it, it can lead to a toxic environment. Fast Company magazine provides several ways to avoid the negative chatter. Try looking for positive ways to connect with others. That could be planning social activities and service events. Switching topics is an easy way to change a conversation that starts turning to gossip. Try asking, how are the kids? Any vacations coming up? Or just leave. The second you feel a conversation is about to go sour, try exiting by saying you need to get back to work. No matter what you do, don't repeat what you hear. It may seem tempting to get the tea, but sometimes it's better just to pass. It will save you from extra stress you don't need. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFNY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Great progress, but the fight is not over. Those words from Governor Roy Cooper, who also says he is grateful to see this latest surge of COVID-19 taper off, but we are still in the thick of it.
So how do we continue to fight? WFNY News 2's Marissa Tansino got answers from health officials.